Hey, wait, listen, Shaq. Hey, Shaq. Hey, let's just cut to commercial and go out there and enjoy with them people.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey.
Yeah, I great interviews, Ernie. Those are great interviews.
Shaq, thanks, man. That was a.
I thought it was overrated.
Boy, what a grateful team and a grateful fan base. That's what strikes you when you stand down there.
Listen, I'm so happy for this team.
Unbelievable.
I'm so happy for the city. Remember that conversation we had about Kawhi a couple months ago when he was the 4th, 5th? He's 1 or 2 now.
Let me just say this.
1 or 2. Great game. Congratulations, Toronto.
For a guy to have 17 rebounds, 7 assists, willing his team to win this game, man, he's unbelievable. I got none but admiration and respect for this guy. And I want to say something about that man right there.
Oh, he did a great
Masai
job.
Ujiri. Now listen, Kenny, we had a little disagreement before the game.
No, it wasn't a disagreement.
Okay, I got respect for Dwayne Casey and DeMar DeRozan. For this man here, who got crucified for trading his most popular best player, and people forget, he fired the coach of the year. And everybody says, you can't do that. And he said, hey, we're not good enough. This is his redemption. Shout out to Masai Ujiri.
Yes, and I agree with everything you said. And my only point was they've helped put him in a position to do that.
Building
which
blocks.
is great. The building blocks,
Yeah.
that's all. But this is a great job by Masai. Unbelievable, for the Toronto Raptors. And yes, as great as Kawhi was, when they made that run, Ernie, when he was sitting on the bench, as you pointed out downstairs, that was just as impressive because the season's on the line. And your best player is sitting, and you had
While
Gasol,
Powell and Ibaka and Siakam.
Yeah. And Ibaka was unbelievable in these moments. Another guy who's been to the NBA Finals, he wasn't scared of the moment.
Let's go to the highlights, and we will continue our discussion as we watch.
Going crazy.
Kyle Lowry moments away from going to the finals for the first time.
Good for him, well deserved.
And 100-94. You know what's impressive about the Raptors, besides all the stuff we showed you on the highlights, but essentially 3 times in this 6-game series they held the Bucks under 100 points. One of those games went overtime, but it was 96 in regulation. I mean, Toronto's defense is very good, folks.
I know that sounds good for those analytical numbers, but this was a wake-up call for the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks, Ernie, your flaws show in the playoffs.
Talking about my flaws? No, I'm just kidding.
This thing where Milwaukee just gives the ball to Giannis to score against the zone, it works, and I don't want to disparage other NBA teams. It works against the Hawks. It works against the Nets. It works against the Knicks.
That's not disparaging at all.
No.
I know. I know what you mean.
You just can't give the ball to Giannis at the top of the key.
Especially when you're in a best-of-7 series where you're seeing each other every other day.
Especially when he's getting guarded by Kawhi Leonard.
What happens also, Ernie, and Shaq, excuse me, what happens is the best of the best play. So we have to figure out a way to beat you. And now the kryptonite has entered the building. So next year, multiple teams will start to do this and play that way. So if you are Milwaukee, you're going to have to change some things up.
And, credit to Nick Nurse for saying, because, we all know this is a man's league. Hey, Kenny, Chuck, you guard him. Nick Nurse said, nope. We're going to put it in the zone, little 3-2 zone, little high school, college zone, and put 3-4 guys at the top and say, hey, Giannis, you're going to have to kick it.
Yeah, but also, Shaq, listen, that's to wipe your glasses, not your forehead, man.
Your glasses are fogging up.
That's my napkin, man. You done dirtied up my napkin, America.
That's because I'm hot right now.
Hey, but you know what? Mike Budenholzer going to have to take a look in the middle. It ain't about, you said Nick Nurse played a zone. Budenholzer can't put him in that situation.
You got a long summer to think about it.
Yeah, but I'm saying, though, Kenny.
Well, if you're in man-to-man, it may work.
Yeah, but
remember, Boston played man-to-man. Game 1, he started off slow, but, once he made his adjustments.
The NBA hasn't been a zone league. And so he tried it, and it worked. And it definitely worked. And so other people will try that for multiple long stints.
But you have to put your players in position to be successful.
I go back to what you guys said at halftime, too, and you said if you're Nick Nurse, you got to feel good because you're not down double digits, and you said there's no way Milwaukee's going to continue to shoot 50% from three-point range. Second half, they went 3 for 16 from deep to the Bucks.
These guys know, and we've been playing, we all been around a long time. When you let teams hang around, bad stuff happens. They were up 13, I think it was the end of the first quarter. They were only up 7 at the half. Then they got that big lead in the third quarter.
15 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter.
And then I think it was 8 going into that. That's a big difference between 15 and 8.
There was that 22-2 bridge, and that told the tale. Unbelievable. Unbelievable Game 6.
A moment they'll be replaying in Canada for decades to come. Kawhi Leonard's dunk on Giannis Antetokounmpo, capping a 26-3 run that turned the game, the series, and the conference title around in favor of the Toronto Raptors, who will be the first team to host an NBA Finals outside the United States. That's coming up on Thursday when they'll take on the Golden State Warriors. Post-game coverage underway here on NBA TV. Brendan Haywood right there. Greg Anthony, I'm Matt Weiner. Good to have you with us. Congratulations to the Raptors, to their great fans. Yes. Really been a great fan base for their entire existence in Toronto. And to Masai Ujiri, who pulled the deal of the season last summer when he brought in Kawhi Leonard, who was the difference in this series.
He was. First and foremost, so you got to tip your cap to the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, they fought to the bitter end in this game, had a tremendous season, and obviously there's a lot of disappointment right now, but their best basketball, I think, with Middleton and Giannis is still ahead of them. But when you look at this Toronto team, I was so impressed with everyone who stepped up. Kyle Lowry was brilliant at times in this game. Early on, Kawhi had a little bit of a struggle to get going. They got down huge, but they continued to fight. Then they got tremendous support from their bench. The end of that third quarter is where the game really turned. And you know, they went on, I think, a 17-2 run, did Toronto.
Wound up being 26-3.
26-3.
Third and fourth quarters, yeah.
You know, you're going to have a lot of people talk about how, well, you know, they should have done this with Giannis and should have done like, and Kenny Smith made a great point in the pregame show about, you know, it's not that easy to just change what you've done for 100 games.
Right.
Overnight, you know, because it isn't working. You know, there's the reason they got there was playing the way they played. Unfortunately, it also caught up to them when they faced a team that had the personnel to take away the strengths. And that's really what this came down to. Toronto had the type of personnel from a defensive standpoint. They could game plan Milwaukee. They could limit their opportunities. They could take away some of their strengths. And conversely, Milwaukee wasn't equipped to do that when you talk about Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, definitely. And when you look at the stars, both these guys compete. When you look at Giannis and when you look at Kawhi, the difference is the shot-making ability of Kawhi Leonard and what that opens up because he's able to make shots and now it becomes harder to double them and things of that nature. And when you talk about Giannis, this is, I think, the type of series that's going to make Giannis become a better basketball player. And I like to think back to 2011 when I was on that Dallas Mavericks team. And we were able to beat LeBron James. We were able to systematically take apart the weaknesses in his game, the lack of a consistent jump shot. Didn't have a post game at that point, so we could hide smaller players on him at times. He came back, and he's gotten a lot better since then. A lot. He's won many titles since then as well. But that failure, that summer of everybody laughing at him, fueled him to be what he is today. I think we're going to see the same type of thing happen to the Greek Freak because right now, when he goes back and looks at the tape, it's going to be humbling because he's going to say, we lost that series, and a lot of the losses come down to me. I was missing free throws. I was not making plays. When I was getting doubled and double-teamed on these spin moves, I didn't know where to go with the basketball. My jump shot still needs work, and I still need a go-to move outside of the Euro step. So when he looks at that aspect and he goes to the gym and says, okay, this is what I have to work on, and these are the things that I'm going to have to do if I want to be a champion, if I want to compete against the LeBrons, the Kevin Durants, and the Kawhi Leonards, I think this type of series is what fuels the Greek Freak to be better. But right now, you just have to tip your hat to Toronto, Kawhi Leonard.
And the Toronto Raptors, a win away from the NBA Finals, but 7 points down, outplayed by the Milwaukee Bucks in the first half of this one as Milwaukee tries to force a Game 7 back in their gym. American Express halftime report. Ernie Johnson, Charles Kenny, and Shaq. Let's go to the American Express teammates and we take a look at a variety of numbers from the first half with the Bucks finding the range from three. They have struggled from three-point range in this series, only shooting 30%, but they hit half their tries. They're shutting them out on the offensive glass, and you see turnovers about even, and the bench points also about even after the Bucks have been drilled in that department in the last two games. Before we get the pictures from either of you, Chuck, Toronto on the brink of history here with a win in Game 6. Why have they trailed most of the first half?
Well, the Bucks 9 for 18 from 3. They played well. They played with great energy. But I don't feel good about Milwaukee right now. I'm not going to lie. They should be up 12 points, Ernie.
They were up 15 at one point.
Yeah, but they get close to gap. And now, if I'm Toronto, I'm Coach Nurse. I'm saying, guys, we played it. Number one, they're not going to shoot 50% from 3.
I was just about to say
They're not going to shoot 50% from 3 the whole game. They got to lock up the defensive board, Toronto. But if I'm Toronto, I feel pretty good at halftime.
Okay, Kenny, what you got?
Well, there's a mentality that you must have as a team in a closeout game or a game that you could be closed out. I was blessed to be on teams that went 2 years where we wasn't closed out in these games. And this is where Middleton has to live. Right here, let's freeze it here. Because a lot of times he's been on the wing. But I think he should take the position that Giannis is at times. It would screw the defense up because you couldn't play a 3-2 zone against him because he has the ability to just knock this 3 down. I think he should live there much more. And again, in transition, you get a nice defensive play. In transition, freeze it here. Am I going to wait for Giannis to get the ball or I'm going to attack? No, George Hill, you have to attack. This is a closeout game. Now you find Ilyasova. He's able to knock down shots without hesitation. Again, in transition. Now your best player has the ball. And now you know everything's coming. Do you hesitate? No. Lopez is looking. Great closeout. Again, shoot it to Brogdon and no hesitation. If you hesitate, you will go home. And the Milwaukee Bucks in that first quarter did a great job of playing by that rule.
They were up 31-18 after one, led, as we said, by 15 in the second quarter. 6-point game at the half. Kawhi Leonard's got 9 points. He's 3 out of 7. What did you see from Milwaukee defensively?
Well, he's facing the same defense that Giannis is facing every time he attempts to penetrate to the hole. It's 4 guys waiting for him. You know, a lot of time he's, baiting to get his others involved, but he's just, crude. Well, I don't want to use the word crude because he's the second best player, but right now he just paced himself. Right now, I think he held the ball a little too long right there. In the previous games, he would draw the defense and then kick it out right away. But as you can see, when he goes to the lane, there's 4 or 5 Bucks waiting for him. And right here, he takes his shot, he misses it, but in the third and fourth quarter, we know Cyborg will be there. But this right here, if he gets his rhythm in the second half, Toronto will make history. But again, it's 4 or 5 Bucks waiting for him every time he gets to the lane.
Listen, number one, we talked about before the game, and last thing I said was whoever gets help for Giannis and Kawhi, I think you got to feel really good if you're Toronto. The Bucks have played great. They're 50%, 9 for 18 from 3. They're killing them on the offensive board. They got 7 offensive rebounds. But like I say, if I'm Coach Nurse, I'm the guys, we played awful.
They have gotten more production out of guys like Ilyasova, who has 9 points in the first half. Couple of threes. He's had 9 points total the last 3 games. Kawhi has got 9, Siakam's got 11, and Kyle Lowry has 9 on the Toronto side. It is 50-44. And why Charles looked like he's about to go to Easter service.
Yeah, man. Hey, brother, don't adjust your set. I know what it looks like. It looked this damn good. Don't adjust your set, brother. It
Tell
looks
him, Charles,
delicious.
if you don't like what I'm wearing,
You can change the channel. You don't have to watch this show.
Hey, I know I look good. I don't have to thank you for letting everybody know.
Who wore it better?
Oh, nice, Colin Lynch.
No, it's not even close.
Yeah,
Come
Colin,
on,
your mama.
His mama wore it better? Okay.
It's deep. Let's get deep.
It's been a long time since we used your mama.
sorry.
Fred VanVleet hotter than Shaq's wings.
Well, yeah, he's stroking that thing right now.
Remember earlier this series, he was 2 for 11, and now the last 3 games he's 13 for 16, Kenny, and confident shooting that thing.
Well, the thing is to get confidence, you have to take good shots. And if you continue to take good shots, these are all good shots. Eventually, good shots will fall. When you're struggling and you take bad shots, you stay in a slump. He's done a great job of staying the course, taking good shot, and then all of a sudden, he's got back on rhythm.
Well, he's actually started playing well since his wife had the baby. He hadn't played well in a while, but
since
after,
Fred Jr. came into the world.
Since Fred Jr., he has been on fire.
And to clarify the score, the official box score had it 50-44. Scoreboard here has it 50-43. A toe on the line here for Kawhi.
Ooh, that's close.
So it is a 50-43 game. 7-point advantage.
7-6, same thing.
For the well, not exactly.
No, what I mean by that,
lose by one.
But that's true. But Charles said it earlier. Toronto feels good where they are right now.
Drake,
Oh, man,
Drake.